Welcome to Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu Podcast, episode 015. This is Stephen Little, and I'm here with
Isaac Tauaefa
and Josh Straussberger.
Good evening, men.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Man, I'm so excited because we are recording this at night.
Late.
And I thrive at night. I don't know about you guys. There's a good chance, that you probably... I know a lot of our listeners, I think, hit this in the morning on their drive to work or during their workout. So it might be morning for y'all, but it is evening here. I'm hyped, and it is that time. You already know it's time to crack that go. I hope you're watching in on YouTube, and you already see what I have right here in my hand. If you're not watching and you're listening, I'm holding Sour Apple Sniper Jocko Go. This is the signature flavor of Elite SEAL Sniper JP Donnell. The can says it, and I say it. He is elite. We love him, even though he's not with us tonight.
No, in spirit.
Time for that crack.
And in text.
I just want to point out my brotherly love. I gave Ike my last Tropic Thunder.
That's true love, because this is the
actual
best one.
last one.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's the best.
Well,
statement.
sorry.
That's
This
a
is
strong
my
statement.
favorite one. And you can't blame me for it, because it's tropical. It's pineapple and coconut. It's
I
in
like
my
it.
blood.
I like it a lot.
For sure.
My genes are like, this is what you're supposed to have.
DNA from deep in my family tree is jumping right now.
And my family tree is a coconut tree.
So listen, if you're not in the Jocko Fuel game, it's time to get in the game. You've heard us talking about it. If you train, if you live, you need Jocko Fuel in your life. Because here's the thing. What we do with supplements is it bridges our nutritional gaps. And we all know, even if you're eating all the quote-unquote really good stuff, we have nutritional gaps in our food. But first and foremost, you've got to get those junk energy drinks out of your life and put these good ones in it. Jocko Go. 95 megs of naturally sourced caffeine. It's completely pasteurized, so that means first energy drink to ever do that, which means there are no preservatives in there. There's no sugar and there's no artificial sweeteners. It's sweetened with monk fruit, as is most of the Jocko Fuel products, if not all. And so it's keto friendly, it's sugar free, with no artificial sweeteners, and it's a big emphasis on the mental focus and acuity. So I love to drink one when I'm doing something like a podcast. I'm about to step into a meeting. I love to drink it before training jiu-jitsu, because you can't unless you're like 18 and weird and you're just young and weird. You can't drink an energy drink, like a gas station energy drink, or like a weightlifting pre-workout and go roll jiu-jitsu.
No.
You'll stroke out. We all know. We've all done it. We've all done it.
We tried.
But dude, I can hit this right before I train. I feel phenomenal.
I drink them. I like to drink this in the morning. So, like, my wife has coffee. I have a Go because it's like smooth. I'm not drinking a bang with like however much milligrams of caffeine.
300.
It has. I'll throw one in my ice bath with me, boink, and it'll sink down and pop back up, and it gets really, really cold. And by the time I'm ready to go, it's good. It's so good.
So
nice, smooth.
Josh and I are avid coffee drinkers.
Avid.
Me
too.
So we crack this in the afternoon.
Well, this is my first thing. Then the coffee comes after.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's my
Yeah.
because a 400 milligram cold brew first thing in the morning is just not my style. So a Go first.
I'm not cold brewing in the morning. I've got to have my hot coffee in the morning.
Hot. Doesn't matter what the temperature is
Hot
outside.
and black, bro.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
Whatever gives me the most caffeine. But all that to say, this is a great way to start off nice and smooth.
I drink my coffee for an experience.
Okay.
Bougie.
I do
so
too, I guess.
bougie, dude.
You do.
So here's the other thing. So as I said a second ago, we all have gaps in our nutrition. So Jocko Fuel, they have one of the best protein powders, if not the best protein powder on the market. Molk, M-O-L-K, comes from grass-fed cows. Has the proper probiotics added into that to make sure you're digesting that protein. Again, it's sweetened with monk fruit as well. Great flavors, super clean, very good to help you make sure you're getting your protein needs in. They got it in the powder. They also got it in the RTDs, ready to drink bottles you can throw in the fridge or the cooler.
Those are dangerous.
Yeah.
I just find myself going and grabbing one out of the fridge
Yes.
just like because I'm bored.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Just want a milkshake.
Yeah.
I trained at JP's house this afternoon. I used his garage gym, and I got after it with his son Aiden, and so he's on the road right now, which is why he isn't with us. So I'm like, hold on, Aiden, I'm gonna go raid your old man's medicine cabinet, which is the Jocko Fuel cabinet. So I'm like getting out the Jocko creatine and all this stuff before.
And that garage fridge is just completely stacked.
Oh, well, that's the thing. It's like, oh, here's a milk to go. Here's this. But it's not anything that JP's not throwing at me when I'm
yeah.
Right? But I am like, dude, this is like a gym and a supplement store.
I'll drink this chocolate one later.
But the Jocko greens are amazing. Make sure you're getting all the stuff that you need from all those veggies that we don't eat. And, everything. Weston Vance is like, man, you'll kill me with that veggie talk because I love vegetables. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to talk bad on that because we've talked about Weston. He'll get after us. He's also a meat eater.
Yeah.
So anyways, check out jockofuel.com, JOCKO fuel.com, and use code JJJ10 to get 10% off and help support our podcast and our ministry. We use that to keep the production rolling here at the studio. We use it for Bibles for our live events. We use it to actually, as we're about to start doing next month, traveling out and opening new markets for Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu. So all that money gets poured right back into reaching people with the message of Jesus and helping build community and fellowship around Jesus and great jiu-jitsu. And that's not necessarily us bringing that great jiu-jitsu, but the people that we're around and we get to surround ourselves with. And so we appreciate all the support in all ways. So many great people reach out and sponsor these podcasts. So many of y'all have reached out and bought shirts and stickers and just people making random donations to us just to support our cause and what we're doing. And then, people using our discount code. And so with that, we appreciate it so much. And let me just hit that other one because we have a repeat sponsor, just a guy that we've really enjoyed getting to know. You've just done so much for this ministry, which, by the way, we hear the testimonies we get back from these podcasts are really humbling. Because I'm like, man, I know the Lord's speaking through us and using us because, look, us three knuckleheads, and maybe when JP's here, but, with us three knuckleheads, man, I don't know how it's possible that we could be making the impact that y'all are messaging us and telling us that we're making in your lives. Just the encouragement to get back in the Bible, the encouragement to start leading your families from a spiritual perspective, the encouragement maybe you're getting back in church, getting back on that path spiritually. And so it's humbling. And, we thank the Lord every day. I was thinking about it this week and I'm like, man, I just thanking the Lord, literally going, not only do you not need me, like you literally don't need me to do anything, but he chooses to use us as believers, but he chooses to use me. And I'm like, man, I don't know why you chose me. Maybe it's because we know you're going to get all the glory when it's said and done. But, it's so cool. And so I was going down the road. So I was going to talk about Kyle Yoakum. He's a repeat sponsor for the podcast. So, man, we appreciate you, Kyle. They're at Yoakum's Rod Shop in Sunbury, North Carolina. I don't even have to look because I've got it memorized. Sunbury, North Carolina. Dude, the vehicles that come into his shop and what they look like when they leave. Josh and I were just looking at this old 1950s Ford truck.
Like C800 or whatever.
C800. I think it's a 1950s model. It's kind of like you see it. Like I've seen Harley Davidson do some of these where it's like that flatbed. It's not a semi truck or anything, but it's kind of like it kind of is in between like a pickup truck and a semi truck. Some of them have the big flatbeds, like we see the Harleys on them, or whatever. It's freaking gorgeous, dude. I need that truck in my life.
Sick.
We need that to travel around to our events. Our Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu events. So good. So, Kyle Yoakum, we appreciate you. They specialize in paint work and I believe body work as well.
Metal fabrication.
And restoring these antique cars, these classic cars, and it's just beautiful, man. What I love about what you do, Kyle, is I'm a sucker for old cars when they're brought back to life, man. It's a piece of history. You're taking something that and taking something that was so cool, and they just don't make cars, as we all know. They don't make cars like they used to.
Nope.
So the fact that you're out there restoring them, man, I love it because it gives me an opportunity when someone like you's worked on a car. It gives me an opportunity to point out to my son and my daughters, what a cool old car used to look like. So appreciate the work you're doing. We appreciate the sponsorship you have. And Isaac, you're going to tell me some stuff about Mr. Kyle Yoakum.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, I know we have some other listeners with Kyle that I just want to give a shout out to really quick. Rosabella, Elizabeth, Mavis, Alice, and Mark. We really appreciate you listening to the podcast.
For sure.
So excited to get to listen with your dad, and we hope you continue to listen and continue to get something great out of this podcast. Your dad's awesome.
That's legit. That's real legit.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Leading your children as you should be. Hey, y'all, make sure you're following him on Instagram. His Instagram is a legit page. You can look him up at Kyle Yoakum, KYLEYOCUM, or Yoakum's Rod Shop, YOCUMSRODSHOP. Yoakum's Rod Shop in Sunbury, North Carolina. We appreciate you, brother. And y'all make sure to give him a follow, give him some love. Also, most importantly, if you've got a vehicle that you're thinking about restoring, like I know JP's got a couple grandparents' vehicles he's talked about. I mean, I don't think he's doing anything real soon, but, you know, if you've got a vehicle that you want to restore, you know, reach out to Kyle and at least let him give you a quote. Even if you don't live right there in North Carolina, it's not that expensive to transport a vehicle, but I would just encourage you to reach out and at least give him a chance to earn that business. And he did not ask us to say that, but that's what I'm saying.
I agree.
So
his work looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, dude, it looks incredible. So one of the things that's funny is we were laughing here earlier, and I think Isaac's the one that pointed it out, but we hadn't really talked about jiu-jitsu in a while. Sorry. We hadn't really talked about jiu-jitsu in a while on our Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu podcast, so we need to talk about that.
Yeah. I think it's good.
It's time,
Probably
right?
good practice.
It adds up.
Yeah.
We do still do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. The cool thing is there are people that listen to the podcast that don't do jiu-jitsu, but there are the majority of the people do jiu-jitsu, so
No doubt.
it's a good value add.
No doubt. You know, for me, I've been out for a while. I hadn't talked about it yet on here, but I've been out for a while with an injury, but now I'm back. So I had an injury that I was training through for a very long time. And
How long, Steven?
we don't have to put that out on air, but
He's not here to put you on blast.
It was for a long time. I'll just say it was a long time.
Would you say longer than you're supposed to let it go?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
2, 3, 4 times longer than you're
Would
supposed to.
you say longer than a year?
I'm not going to talk about that, but I had a umbilical hernia. So I had a hernia inside my belly button. So my innie belly button became an outie belly button. I will say the really funny thing, because I kind of saw it coming in the mirror. Like you could see my belly button slowly changing, and I'm just like, this is interesting, you know. I'm like, well, I've been like lifting weights like decently heavy. I mean, compared to some people like in Isaac's family, it's not, but heavy weights for 20 plus years now, or right at 20 years now, and without ever stopping or anything. And then now training jiu-jitsu, you have a lot of strain on your core, especially when you're playing bottom, you know, because you're crunched up and you're fighting and everything. And so I'm just like, okay, it's just, I don't know, it's just. And then when the detriment happened was at the Thanksgiving dinner table.
Oh no, it wasn't even during training. It was during
so
it was an eating accident.
Yes, bro. So listen, the compromise had obviously happened probably from years of weightlifting, and then obviously, like I said, jiu-jitsu, and it was this slow thing. It wasn't like one event. I was noticing that it was changing, but I wasn't really having any issues. And then I'm at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Here's the key, though. I had already had like a Thanksgiving with Amanda's family, and now we're at my family's house. And I just remember sitting there, and I was just eating like what, I don't know about you guys, but I just eat to hurt on Thanksgiving.
Oh, for sure.
And so I'm going.
As long as it tastes good, I'm still going.
That's right. Yeah. Going. All of a sudden, I just feel like this boop. Like boop, right in my belly button, and just like I felt the hernia pop out, and I felt like there was like a knife in my stomach, and I was just like, oh, this is not good. I remember just like that cold sweats, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I definitely trained through that for a long time, and then it came to a head where there was no choice. Like it was almost. It got weird on me, and it was basically emergency surgery.
Yeah. They got you in quick.
Yeah, it was bad, bro. Started turning red and all kinds of stuff. And then I start hearing all these stories about people that have like passed away from this stuff because it goes septic sepsis, and all this weird stuff. So really thankful. I mean, honestly, I feel like the Lord just protected me through my stupidity of not getting it fixed. But I really do, because especially after talking to the surgeon who's specialized in this, she's like, to quote her, she's like, I just remember coming out of the drugs, and she's like, this was a nightmare. Also, hey, really funny, I had the coolest like anesthesiologist. This big guy, he's a little older, really cool, man, really nice guy. and I'm just about out. Like, I mean, I'm just about fully gone. And he goes, hey, dude, you're a big guy. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, wake up politely. I was like, what? He's like, don't swing, don't jump up. He's like, sometimes you big boys like to come up swing, and he's like, we're not going to fight you. And I'm like, I promise I'm like a lover, not a fighter, you know? I'm like, hopped up.
Punch
It hadn't crossed my mind.
Hopped up and all kinds of stuff.
Dude,
Yeah, so I had my recovery and everything, and so I've started in the last like week or so. I've had a jiu-jitsu session, felt really good. Been lifting weights, feeling great. It's so weird, man, because this is the longest I've ever gone my whole life since I was 13 years old. I'm 33 now without working out or lifting weights, you know. And it's just been weird, dude.
I'm sure.
Weird.
Yeah.
But it feels good to be back. So I'm training.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to get my cardio back. So
his first day back, we were at our brother Anthony's gym. They had moved into a bigger space, and
beautiful space.
you know, we
Anthony Kronk's black
yeah.
belt and original Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu member.
Yep. So we were doing the drill together, and then when it was time to roll, he was like, "Just use your same partner." And both of us were like, "Great. If we need to rest, we can just rest and watch what they're doing." So
actually, what happened was that's not the we did
well, that's not the
rest.
full. Yeah, we did.
Also, Josh and I are the two that like we've been training partners. We've done privates together, many privates together, and so it's like it happens very rarely. I mean, but it's like sometimes if our professor's like no drilling today, like we're just gonna just roll like all class. It'll say, hey, do one flow roll to warm up, and then like pohada. And so it's always Josh and I together for whatever reason in this like flow roll. And literally, I mean, within 5 seconds, we're trying to rip a Kimura or like frickin' put the other guy's face in the mat. I mean, it's like dirty. You know, it's like two brothers.
Yeah.
Well,
Dirty but not dirty.
Exactly what you'd expect. And yeah, so what happened was the first class back is we got paired up to roll, and JP was going with a 6'5", 290,
Yeah, I think
300 pounds.
Maybe I'm guessing.
He's at least. I mean, look. I mean, you know, I'm 6'2.5", and I'm 265 right now, and this man is much larger than me. Not like a little bit, like much larger. But he's a white belt. But we also know he's been training for a while,
Right.
And so I was like, dude, I really want to watch this match because I already know we know the outcome. Like JP will wear him out. Nice dude, firefighter.
Yeah, super cool.
But like we know JP's gonna wear him out, but I'm like, I want to see how, because this is gonna be interesting because this is like a freaking mammoth. So Josh and I are like, well, let's just make sure we keep positioning our roll to where we can watch.
We can see. And then,
But then JP lays down and lets them start in side
as
control.
they're starting, he's like, "Start in my top side control." We were like, "Okay."
Yeah. We talked about that. JP and I talked a little bit about that, just starting in bad positions or letting them get to bad positions so you can work out of it, which a little panic sets in, especially after you're a couple rounds deep and you're really exhausted and you're like, all right, I'm about to let this gigantic guy purposefully get side control.
I'm going to start there.
Yeah, it's not fun, but it's what you need.
Yeah.
Oh, I took Josh's back.
Oh yeah, he did.
And the only reason that's significant, it's not like, oh, I took his back. No, it's because we've been training for years together, and I've never gone for the back. So I think
it was a shock factor for
Yes.
sure. I was like, "Where are you going?"
Because a lot of times I'll try to wrestle back down for topside.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Do you chase back for as a big guy?
It depends on how fresh I am, because for me it's a big chore. Like if they're good at escaping the back, or for me it takes a lot to maintain back control. And I'm learning from my coach David Rodriguez how to be better at maintaining back control. But there's just so many like pieces of it. If you can't get a body triangle right away, then you have to use hooks, but they're constantly like. People that are good at escaping, like they're trying to get their hips to the ground, they're scooting out,
getting their back over it.
Yeah,
shoulder walking.
Yeah, shoulder walking, peeling your hooks off, blocking, like doing hand fighting. So it's kind of trying to figure out how to best maintain the back is hard for me. But I do like a lot of the attacks from the back. I had a good roll yesterday at my school against a guy that's he's athletic dude. He's probably about maybe 6'1", like 270 probably, and he's going to be really good. He'll be a blue belt soon, but he's just like, he's also strong and explosive. And I got his back, and I was kind of like, like looking up at David, like every couple seconds, like, is this right? Am I supposed to do this? Yeah, that's awesome. And he's a little unconventional too. David likes to go to the side. He likes to fall to the side when he has seatbelt of the arm that's underneath the armpit instead of over the shoulder. A lot of people go to the shoulder side so that you have your choke arm up, like right against the neck. But David likes to go the other way because there's more options for him, he said. So I'm trying to do that now. But yeah.
I would say typically when we roll, because we got in that position where he went for my back, I ended up in Naughty Turtle, and and he's right. Typically, so
Naughty Turtle for your listeners is when you just have your butt way too high up in the air. When you're turtle. Don't do that.
It's like a terrible turtle. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, keep talking, guys.
And usually we end up there after some type of scramble, and I'll end up turtling. It happens often. Part of the problem is we've done so many privates together, like even as we would start to learn moves, we might hit them on each other at first, but then like I'd go for a grip and he'd be like, "No, I know what you're doing." And he'd go for something, I'd be like, "No, I know what you're doing."
Josh and I's rolls typically are very cyclical, if that's the right way to say it. Like we'll just chase the same we'll try something different, and we just end up in these same patterns of like going for deep half or going for this or a north-south turn. It's just like over and over and over and over. And so every now and then you're like, I'm going to do something crazy.
Let's get wild. So I end up in turtle, and he normally does try to either wrestle me down or for the side control. And sometimes I'll go, depending what happens, if I'm not super tired, every now and then I'll try to go 2-on-1. Like when you reach under, if I can stuff your arm, I can sit out and drag. And I've ended up on your back a few times. A lot of times, though, I'm just like, all right, we're going to go to half guard and wait a minute.
See, I need to breathe. I think you know me so well because when that's really effective, not that you can't get it anytime, but when the highly effective is when I'm tired.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when I'm real tired, he knows. You know, he's like, oh, I know where to go here.
I'm going to get it this time. And I think I've repaid you with a back take.
Correct.
Double back takes.
But yeah, I think it's exactly what you said. I think for one, like when you look at our training room there for Migas, it's a highly competitive training room. There's a lot of good big guys, but there's a lot of good small fast guys.
Oh,
and so for one, you're not getting an opportunity to take the back.
Yeah.
But if you do get the opportunity and you take the back, bro, they are good at getting out of it.
Yeah,
and
you
with
have to be so
when you're mixed match size,
mistakes.
it's hard to, or at least I've found. Like, what was the wording you said earlier? Like, hard to maintain back control.
Yeah.
Especially
against somebody that's wide enough that you can't really get your legs locked on them.
Yeah, and so stereotypically, like I feel like I have a very good side control, and I can retain kind of no matter what size. I mean, there's levels to this. So the high level guys, they can do whatever they want. But I'm just saying, typically like. I have a good side control compared to my back take, and so. But that's one of the things I've been trying to do that. Now that I had a really beautiful excuse to play mostly top, which was my hernia, because I couldn't get on the bottom and crunch and fight. I really needed to play top. That was a great thing that made me.
It was great in the moment.
Yeah, and now it's over. And now it's over, and now I've got to start purposely playing bottom. And, I don't know if y'all are going to make me pull guard because we don't pull guard in this dojo.
No.
I'm just saying. I want to buy it, but I won't. There's a Cobra Kai gi that says we don't pull guard in this dojo.
It's just so weird, man. Just pull guard. No. You can pull guard.
I've pulled guard on Isaac before.
I pull guard all the time.
I'll pull his big self onto me.
Yeah, I pull
it's better
so
than
I can sweep. Then I end up on top.
I get it.
It's better than getting tornado thrown. Is what I'm saying.
Some of the best. Yeah, that's true.
I do that enough times, and then they're like, "Okay, I'll just pull them."
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I still haven't learned that lesson. I guess I still get tornado thrown.
No, I'm just. Come on, you can squash me. I don't feel like getting thrown.
I almost prefer to get thrown than squashed. Yeah, truthfully, I think part of it too is like there's not many people that can can.
Yeah, you're pretty safe for the most part.
So I like the ride, kind of. It lets me feel like a gymnast for a moment.
Well, there's some a few takedowns I know well enough that I can usually make sure the person lands well. there's a couple that I'm working on that
It doesn't always land so smooth.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your first competition as a white belt.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I did
You saw Instagram or
Ogoshi.
YouTube the night
Yeah,
before?
YouTube. Well, okay, so Stephen Banta, my buddy Stephen Banta, literally the best brown belt in all of jiu-jitsu history, most decorated brown belt of all time. At the time, he was a purple belt. Well, he won worlds at blue belt, but anyway, he was like, I told him I was going to do my first competition. I was doing the Hickston Gracie Cup, and he sent me a video of I think it's called a Harai Ogoshi, and it's a judo throw, like pretty much. But I was doing it kind of a version of it. Like I had like a collar sleeve, and then
But you had never practiced it. You only saw it on
No, I was just practicing in my mind.
Had a lot of reps up here.
I really did.
A lot of mental
I sat
reps.
and I thought about it so much. Honestly, and it's so stupid that I'm saying that I'm admitting to doing something brand new in a tournament that I never did, which is that's a white belt move right there. But there is something to visualization. Like my college coach taught me that, and just like practicing in your mind, just like imagining what it feels like to put your hand down in the turf and coming off the ball and hitting somebody and getting grips and all that. I did that with jiu-jitsu. Well, anyway, I like practice this in my mind. I'm like, I'm not going to do that, And then we stood for, I don't know, 3 minutes or something. I'm like, I have to do something, and I'm getting tired, and I don't want to keep standing, so I'm just going to go for it. So I just like tried it, and I didn't do it correctly the first time, but it's because I like kind of half-hearted effort.
And it was your first time doing it.
Yeah. And Stefan goes, yes, do that again. Just don't half butt it. That's what he says. And I'm like,
right.
Okay, go. So I just like went as hard as I could, thinking like it was going to be so hard to move him, So I like pretty much overshot it. Like I probably could have ended up I could have ended up on bottom or something in the back, because I just went straight like explosion and not really a lot of precision. But
that's frightening.
But it just.
Do you know the end of the story?
No, I don't think I know.
The way that I think he was stepping towards me at the time, and I just like kind of went to like kind of lift him up a little bit with that shoulder and sleeve grip, and I hopped forward and then just like chopped his leg with my leg, and he full on like did a.
It's on. Go deep in his page. It's way down there.
It's crazy.
When the guy landed, Isaac threw him so hard, when he landed, his ankle snapped.
Yeah, well, I think he broke his foot. I think he like kicked the ground or something. Well, because I asked him
the force of him landing broke his foot.
Wait, if you watch his feet, they just go. Oh, they just go in like that. They're just going a full circle.
Yeah, he rounds the
way
clock.
Around.
Okay,
it's like a clock. Like
yeah, and he landed, and it was just weird. And then I circled to his back, and then kind of.
So
hit that
next
for a little
time
bit,
Isaac's going to throw you, just know that he has thrown a grown man so hard that his foot snaps upon impact.
His foot just gave up. His foot.
And by the way, that's against the mat.
Yeah.
Well,
not the concrete.
But I promise
can you imagine getting thrown like that in the streets?
Oh, you'd be dead. It'd be dead.
Well, that's why judo's so freaking deadly, man. Like those guys, I would not want to. You watch Olympic judo. I'm like, those guys could do that to you. They could just do one of these foot trips on you, and you'd be really messed up, falling on your hip, your elbow, like breaking your arm on the concrete.
I'm just gonna hope I stab you on the way down.
Josh and his stabbing, dude.
Sorry,
he's always got some night. He's always fake shanking me.
Yes,
like, yeah.
In the middle of a roll, he's like shiv. I'm
yeah,
like, you don't have a shiv in your gi, bro.
Yeah, that's when you pull out your fake pistol too. You draw from concealed in your gi, and you're like, pew, pew, pew. Anyway. But
trying to keep it real.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, so
like
nowadays,
JP's dad's friends that carried the nunchucks in his pants.
Previous podcast,
yeah. I try to do throws that I'm real comfortable with now, and honestly, so there's a guy named Theo Lee that trains at Marcus Antolante's, or was training there a lot, and I would go to competition training, train with him, and I don't know what he is in judo. I don't know. I think he's like a brown belt or something in judo, and he's ridiculous. And so he's thrown me so many times, and I'd be like, okay, bro, show me that and work on it. We do 40, 50 reps. Like, if you've hit the ground in a judo throw like more than 5 times, it's brutal.
Y'all aren't using a crash pad?
No, just on the regular. I mean, Marcus's gym has like a little spring too, kind of like Formiga's. And
it's raised.
Yeah.
You
could feel it. If you jump, you could feel it.
Bro, it's so nice. I love raised mats. By the way, if you have a gym and your mats aren't raised, What are you doing? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Guys. I'm just kidding.
Well, they're not doing judo throws. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
that.
no.
That's true.
But
Not more
I
than
think
once.
judo mats, don't they put like tires underneath? I've heard a lot of
no,
them.
I think some of them have like actual springs, but a lot of these new ones will have these foam blocks that
Yeah.
they put underneath. They space the foam
Every
blocks.
certain bit you
every
space.
foot. I think every
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe every foot.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, he would just toss me over and over again. So I started asking him to show me that, and we'd practice over and over again. So there's a couple that I feel pretty comfortable with, and well, the tornado is not one of them, but he did this. I think it's called a Yoko Tomanage, and we tried that. I tried that over and over again. It's like a foot on the hip. It's like a collar and a tricep grip, and then you're stepping across your body, falling to your side. Foot goes in the hip, and then you're overhead.
Launching him over.
Yeah. And you can do it really controlled to where they pretty much do a forward roll and you come up and mount, or a side control with knee on belly, and it's awesome. But I hit it at when I went to Formigas last week. I trained, I think it was Friday or something, and I hit it three times. But it's a really solid one, because especially with people that want to stand.
Yeah.
It's good.
I don't like going against wrestlers, though. I'll tell you that. Even in the gi.
Yeah.
Those pesky wrestlers.
I know, bro.
Respect.
So, what you got, Josh? What's new with your training?
Oh man, I'm just trying to survive.
No,
Apparently,
come on.
I'll tell you what he's doing. He's trying to heel hook me in the gi during our warm up round when we're just flow rolling, and he gets me in the Texas Cloverleaf first, and I have to tap. I'm like, I don't want to tap, and then he tries to heel hook me after that. So I needed to tell somebody.
that did happen.
I'm glad you're sitting between us.
We weren't just. We were. Were we flow rolling? What were we doing? That did
There's
happen.
no flow rolling,
were.
guys. I've literally never flow rolled. Like I said,
No.
like that scenario earlier where I described, like Josh and I like trying to flow roll.
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds and then it's go time. What we were doing, I don't know. I feel like you had shanked me.
I probably did shank
You shanked me back, and then I was like, "Come here," and put you in the
Cloverleaf.
I may have heel hooked you in the gi.
He did. You did in the gi, which is completely just despicable and dishonorable.
So that's what I've been doing apparently. So I've been pretty consistent lately, which is good. But the things have just been it's been different with how the matchups have been. So I feel like I've been matched up with a lot of black belts lately. So
for that, one of the things, just for y'all's listeners, what our gym does is a little different than the majority, which our professor matches every one of our roles, and it's crazy how good he is at it, and his students, a lot of the gyms, the black belts that are under him will follow his lead, and they're great at it too.
Yeah.
Where
Yep.
they're literally like, they're knowing, okay, it's like, because he's tracking all his students. Okay, these are the looks my students need. I'm going to give them these hard rounds. I'm going to give them a little easier ones so they can maybe focus more on offense. I'm going to do this. And it's just amazing how he tracks it. But it's also amazing because I've trained at a gym previously where you just pick your role, and the quality of rounds that you get when your professor's matching every role is so much better.
and it's like he knows.
So I just wanted to say that you're getting a lot of black belt rounds, but that's because obviously Formiga is giving those to you.
Yeah, most of the time. Pretty much every time. I think last week, so I was out of town Thursday, Friday. Did you train noon Wednesday?
Yeah.
We were both there, right?
Oh no, sorry. I think I went to Marcus on
Okay.
Talente's, yeah.
Well, it was Anthony and Weston were running it while Formiga was out of town, and it was they did technique and everything, but for once when it was time to roll, they let us just kind of pick, and of course I had 3 black belts call me out. So apparently I have a look on my face that just has thrashed that dude.
Yeah.
No, but I love it. And it was the same thing. The funniest one, we talked about it when we went to Anthony's. He after Weston just picked me apart to where I could do nothing, Anthony rolled with me. I think that's the order. And Anthony, he wants to make me suffer, and it makes you stronger. I'm not talking bad. I love it, but like he wants me to tap to pressure, and that guy's got serious pressure. And he does things where like maybe my back will break, or maybe I'll throw up, or maybe I'll pass out, but I'm not going to tap to pressure. And it was funny though, because like he's after the roll, he goes, I forgot what it was, some type of like side control with him. He turned up on the side, and I was doing all of my do something to get away and go to turtle, because it was the right move on that one. And afterwards he was like, bro, I know you wanted it so bad. You were trying to do the right thing, but I wasn't going to let you. And I was like, just kill me, man. just finish me. So I guess I was kind of joking with the surviving lately, but there has been a lot of that. So that's really good for your defense.
But when you're surviving against world competitive black belts, I mean, I'd say you're doing good. Former D1 wrestler, very competitive black belt in the competition scene. I mean,
it's only because he's choosing for me to survive and suffer.
Fair enough.
But it is good, and that's what's great about all the upper belts we roll with is they will, for the most part, put you in positions, and then when they let you work, you may not get out, but you're getting solid reps on what to do and not do, I think. So you're still learning. Like I don't mind being in a bad position, because I do always like to learn, and sometimes I will put myself in those positions too. So
especially with people around your skill level or worse, you're quick to give up a bad position on purpose, which is like no ego, because you're like we talked about with Blake Gibson, you know, you're like, okay, I'm going to put myself in a bad position with this hungry, young, freaking swole white belt.
Specimen.
yeah.
Yeah, and I might get tapped for everyone. I don't care, though, because I want to work out of this
I know.
position.
I'm going to see if I can get out of it. And it's been helpful. So
That's awesome.
That's kind of where I've been a lot. I have had a lot more, you know, and I don't know if that's what I need, or if Megan knows that's what I need, but it's been good. It's been a lot of learning. A lot of humbling too, but it's been a lot of upper belt rolls for sure. So,
well, do you want to? I did have a question for Josh, but I don't know how we're doing on time as far as getting to the word.
Go ahead, we can go quick.
We're good. Lucas says we're good. We're good.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Good. We got the thumbs up. I wanted to ask you. So you're really good at lockdown.
I'm just trying to figure out if this is. No,
I know.
This setup is either like.
I already roasted him earlier for heel hooking me.
Okay. I'm like, all right, sorry.
No, I did. You're right. It's good to question that, because half the time I am going to roast him. But this is real. This is honoring my brother. You're really good at half guard, playing half guard, and
questionable.
Well, it's like the half guard sweep, lockdown sweep. So like when did you start doing it? It's horrible. And I usually can get out of it. I usually can circle my foot, or I can get my foot close to my body and get my foot out of there. Or if I do a hard enough crossface and I could turn away a little bit, I can usually get some room. But
don't teeter your weight though.
Yeah, no.
It's like you better
get
have
swept.
it. Yeah.
But he'll find a way. I mean, you know, there's ways that I try to get around it now, or just avoid it. But when you do get the lockdown, for me, it's like really hard to get out of that. When most people, I can get out of it. First of all, what are you doing? Well, I wanted to know who you learned it from, or where you learned that.
I learned that. So most of my training before I came to Texas was at Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, and
where you met JP.
Where I met JP, we trained there. It was a fight school. They had, like I said, Muay Thai, MMA, boxing, and Jiu-Jitsu, So it was in it. The main black belt there at the time did have a really good half guard game, but he taught at night, and we kind of had like, I don't know what you would call us, but it really wasn't a daytime class at first. It was just, hey, there's some guys that want to train during the day, and there was a purple belt there that, you know, we became friends. He eventually became a black belt. And kept training. It turned into a real class, but he showed me some pointers on half guard. And I was, believe it or not, I was pretty small. I mean, I was tall. And
I fully believe it.
That's it. Where's my show? Lost my whole train of thought. No,
fairly small pointers on half guard.
Yeah, so I was bad out of shape when I started jiu-jitsu, and I had no jiu-jitsu. I just was learning how to lose weight. And but I was 6'2", 180, and a lot of the guys that were coming were 240, a lot of big guys. So I I actually just started using that just to kind of like buy some time.
Yeah, slow down.
And then I used to do no gi more than gi too. So I just started having a lot of success with the lockdown and the electric chair, actually, which you can use it as a sweep, or then I think the actual submission is the banana split.
Mm-hmm.
But
on me, you just use it as a really deep hamstring stretch.
Yeah,
because I'm not tapping to that.
Well, I have never put it on.
You've tried.
I definitely have not.
I've tapped to his banana split. It's not good, bro.
I've definitely done it.
I surprise people with
I
my.
know, you freaking.
I surprise people with my flexibility.
You remember that
so I'd love
tire
to
you
do
had?
to
That
you.
was actually my knife.
After the banana split.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Electric chair.
Slashes tires.
So really, it was a defensive mechanism to start,
Yeah.
and then it turned into where I could turn it into a pretty decent sweep and have success.
I learned that was a slow, painful lesson for me. A lot of calf bruises.
Well, something I want to point out about that, just like in the broad scheme of jiu-jitsu, that's cool, is you find people like all through their journey, as even when they become black belts, they have these things that they've been doing probably since they were like blue belts that they were freakishly good at, or they like gravitated toward, and they got really good at that thing. It's kind of cool to see those things develop and what they look like way down the road. You've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 40 years now. But I mean,
It's true.
but I'm sure it's evolved. Your sweep has evolved a lot, and even since I've known you and I've rolled with you, the first time you did it to me to now, because like I've gotten out of it a few times, but this last time I couldn't, and I felt like my leg was going to break.
but you weren't going to tap.
No, I wasn't going to tap. But that was a really good. Yeah. Anyway, it's cool that happens in jiu-jitsu. You kind of gravitate towards a technique or something that you're good at. You know.
Yeah,
It's good.
I do always keep in mind though, like practically speaking, that's probably not a position you want to be in when you're fighting someone,
Because your face is wide open.
Yeah,
You're
so-
ripe for me to rain elbows.
Or
on
if
you. I'm
you-
going to do that next time.
Or
Yeah,
if you're
please.
properly doing half guard and your head is buried, then you're a little safer. But I'm not thinking about.
We know what JP says about half guard, right? If Brandon Evans is listening to this, he's my good buddy out in California, and he's at like a half guard player, and he's like, "Oh, JP hurt me." JP hurt me. You remember multiple episodes back when JP's like,
Yeah.
"Bro, if we're in a fight, you get your trash half guard out of here.
Yeah.
I'll destroy you." Like, you know,
Yeah, I'm definitely not going there. But if you end up there, I'm gonna hopefully sweep and get back on top and bail. I'm not thinking of any submissions from there. I'm not. No.
Maybe if I've fallen, I'm gonna play. If I do have to play like knee shield or whatever, I'm just gonna like shoot an underhook and come up.
but bro, knee shield's completely different. When we're talking about because you can protect your face and
Yeah.
your head.
yeah,
I would say would you consider me a half guard player?
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
I feel like I play knee shield more now, though.
No, you're a half guard player, bro.
That sucks.
Yeah, you're one of those.
I'm gonna heal.
A bunch of guys online that could destroy me, just like target on Steven.
I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna heel hook both of y'all now, gi or no gi. Fine. But yeah,
All right, Josh, Mr. Gee Hill Hooker, half guard player extraordinaire.
all the dirty names. Scripture time.
Yep.
Did you have more on that, Isaac? You look like you were thinking about something.
I'm thinking about what I'm going to do to you tomorrow. Okay. That's what I'm thinking about.
Okay, cool. We're gonna do the banana split and see how that really works.
Just hold on. My left knee's not very good right
We
now.
do need to report back to that because there has been a full challenge that Ike will not tap to Josh's banana split.
And Josh
So-
will not tap to my pressure, he's told me.
I haven't yet.
And I have full on neon bellied him. To his credit, I full on neon bellied him, full on thumb grip in the back of the collar, and pant grip on the far hip. And I was just like, you know how you lean back for a bow and arrow? I was on his stomach, and he was saying, "Is that all you got?" And he was about to die, but he's "Is that all you got?" And I'm like, "Are you gonna tap?"
In all honesty, I'm like the first to talk trash on Josh just because we have so many epic wars. But bro,
Yeah.
you're gonna literally have to kill him.
Yeah, you will have. That's what I found out. You're right. I'm gonna have to kill him.
Are you gonna tell him what you told me you wanted me to do?
Well,
Keep
I
it-
told
you
him
can
I
keep
want.
it.
Yeah, no, I told him I want you to either tap to pressure or poop your pants. That's it.
And I told him I would poop my pants before I tapped to pressure.
You said
And
you would die before you tap.
Well, that
you
too,
said.
but
Yeah.
I mean, it might be uncontrollable.
Okay, so here's we
You gotta have
hey,
a friend. You have to have a
let's- here,
friend.
Josh.
And I have many of them. Sorry, that are I will die before I whatever fill in the blank.
Death before dishonor.
Plug your ears for a second. So
Okay.
we'll do we'll get him hyped up on Taco Bell pre-class.
If we could lure him in with the
flank him and lure
what's his
him.
favorite? Oh, Mexican
Mexican
pizza.
pizza,
Yeah,
which by the way,
yeah.
Mexican pizza has a bunch of beans on it.
It does have a little bit of.
He's
Like,
done
hey
so.
Josh, we got you like 4 Mexican pizzas before class.
I'm still not tapping.
No,
No, but
you're
we're
crapping.
gonna get that other one. And tap it, but you crapping.
Oh man.
All right,
Now
bro.
to get into the word.
Get us in the word. By the way,
Serious
if
in
y'all
the
haven't
word.
learned yet, if y'all are regular listeners and you haven't learned yet, I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for Josh always using the King James translation, but
I am.
There's something regal about it. I like it. It feels royal.
It feels
feels like a half guard player.
It feels reverent. It feels.
I like that.
I don't know. I like it.
No, it is good. I like the change up. Let's go.
Yeah. So, scripture today, Ephesians 5:15 and 16. You've got it in another version. If you
Yeah.
want to pick anything apart, there may be one word. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil.
So be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days.
Pretty good, pretty spot on. But that's what was laid on my heart. What do you guys think about that?
No. Why was it laid on your heart? No, you're not getting off that easy, bro. You know, just like your position of choice half guard, like while it can be dominant, it is a punishing position to be in if you're
can
up
be.
against someone that knows what they're doing. So we're not letting you out this easy, bro. You're gonna
That's
have to
true.
earn. You're gonna have to earn your way out of this.
So this stuck out to me. This verse has kind of been rattling around since. Like I had a verse picked the last time we recorded, just in case. I always try to have one on deck. But then this one's kind of been rolling around in my mind. Obviously, the last phrase of the verse is because the days are evil. And I think we can all agree that it's pretty evil out there these days. But I feel like there's some commands in here that can apply to all of us. And it stuck out to me because I think in the beginning of it, it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, which is be aware of what's around you. And I think a lot of times, even as Christians, we may not necessarily be doing things wrong, which the next part is not as fools. We may not be acting as fools, but sometimes we really get our heads buried down and we really lose sight of what is going on around us, kind of like the head in the sand type thing. Mm-hmm. So that's what made it stick out to me at first was like, hey, you're a Christian, you're in these evil times, but like keep your head up, like situational awareness and use some wisdom. Also, redeeming the time jumps out. Time's kind of a precious commodity, and I know we've talked about it before with our kids, but you can kind of apply that to anything, the days that we're going through. I always apply it to like the days are evil. I've got children. So I want to be aware to protect my kids, to walk circumspectly, not as a fool, but be wise in how I lead my kids. So it's not just like as I'm walking through, but I kind of also take that as a command as how we're leading those that are with us, and knowing that the time's short. So we have work to do while we're here.
Well, to that, if you keep reading verse 17, don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do.
Oh, imagine that.
You're literally like it's. I know I'm looking at your note
Yeah, I
card.
just hand wrote it on my note
You
card.
have yours stops at 16, but you're actually saying the next verse. Be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but live like those who are wise. Make every opportunity in these evil days. Don't. And here's the part, like you're saying, get your head up, situational awareness, and. But again, don't act thoughtlessly, which I feel like I know I'm personally guilty of acting thoughtlessly a lot, especially in the past. I'm trying to be so much better now, of just kind of like, whatever. But literally, don't act thoughtlessly. but understand what the Lord wants you to do. And that's like I've shared that a lot on the podcast over the last couple of years. For me, it's been a big focus of like trying to make sure that I'm fulfilling my kingdom purpose, in each season, every day, every week, every month. And I just love my wife and I are just like sprinting on the same path together, and they look a little different, but we're heading the same direction. Yeah. And so like there's a incredible accountability there, and iron sharpening iron there, which helps, but it's just like, don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do.
Right. And when you're doing that, the way things kind of open up to you, it can be surprising, like even to believers. Like, I mean, me and Isaac were talking about today about some stuff. Like, even sometimes when you're doing what you're supposed to do, some doors get closed, and it's just still leading you to what you're ultimately supposed to do. So I guess also like there could be some discouragement in there, but if you are aware, up, looking around, it's funny, JP's not here, but one of the things that some of the trainings that I help out at, I facilitate as a role player, is detaching, and that's kind of like this says walk with your head up, looking around. Some of the trainings we do, like they're looking on their gun, and you only see what's in the scope. Mm-hmm. You don't see what's around you. So a lot of bad decisions happen that way. So I know
we get that tunnel vision, especially if we get over focused on a task, a project, a goal. If we get if we get angry or over, just we get sucked in. There's a lot of emotions or situations that can suck us in. Yeah. We get that hyper focus on that one thing, and we are missing everything else that's going on around us. Maybe it's our children, or a wife, or another threat that we're missing because we're so laser focused on this one area.
Yep. Yeah. So the word that you was in the King James, what was it?
Circumspectly.
Yeah, I think that was good, eye opening, because the translation I have says, "Look carefully, then how you walk." Which being careful is important. I mean, to the context of this scripture, when you're supposed to be walking as the wise, it kind of seems a little like obvious, not as unwise, but as wise. That's what my version says. It's like, yeah, of course, like I want to walk as a wise person, but I think it requires then for you to be looking, to be on the lookout, to like Stephen was talking about tunnel vision. It's really easy to get tunnel vision on things that, even if they're good things, even if it's like, well, I know I'm supposed to be doing this thing, and so I get focused on this, I put all my effort and my attention on this, but then if you're not looking around, you're not walking with wisdom.
Right.
Like it can be unwise. So there's like there's a certain level or a certain point where it becomes unwise to be so fixated.
Right.
By the way, so I'm reading this from my Bible, and the little title above 15 where you started, Josh, is Living by the Spirit's Power. So we're talking about living by Jesus' Spirit's power, and then this is the instruction. And it goes on for a couple more verses. So be careful how you live. Do not live like fools, but like those who are wise. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. Don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do. Don't be drunk with wine, because that will ruin your life. Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs among yourselves, and making music to the Lord in your hearts. And give thanks for everything to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. And that's under the section Living by the Spirit's Power. So it's incredible instructions. I want to live by the Spirit's power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same.
Yes. I want to look carefully and walk wisely. And I want to make the best use of the time.
And I want to choke Josh out until he poops his pants.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Just full of Mexican pizzas.
But if I'm walking circumspectly,
you can see it coming.
I can see it coming.
That's wise.
And you can see it coming, but you can't stop it.
I love it, man. Make the best use of the time. That's a good one too.
That's kind of a little side note there. Like, how much time do we waste? Are you making the best use of your time?
And you know what? So with that as well, are we living a life that's Holy Spirit led, to where when we are on our calendar, we're making the most of our time. We're running from one project to the next, from one thing to the next, and we don't make the most of our time, which sometimes is listening to that prompting from the Lord to stop what we're doing and have a conversation with this person that he's put in front of us. Like we were just on the phone with JP. JP's on the road. This wasn't even planned.
Nope.
JP's on the road back from a trip. He was in St. Louis, and flights got all crazy, and so he had to get a car and drive back. So he's driving back, and he's a little frustrated. He's sharing with us that he's having to drive and everything, and he ends up at this gas station, and the guy out there starts striking up some conversation with him. And it turns out the guy lives right down here where we are, and he's up there for work in St. Louis at the same time. They're both traveling back from St. Louis from work, right? End up at the gas station. They end up talking. And JP's wearing his Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu shirt. And so
Which you can have one too.
Yes. They can hit us up.
DM.
So, yeah, so I guess we're still on the DM system.
Yeah.
So the guy asks him, like, man, I love your shirt or whatever, and he tells him, hey, I found myself in this place in work where I've been getting to work with these people, and the Lord's been giving me just endless opportunities to minister to these people. And so then JP starts telling him about Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu and Pursuit, and the guy, like, wants to come to Pursuit, and he wants to, like, meet up and talk about how he can pour into whatever we're doing, just be involved with Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu, or maybe help with some form of fashion, whatever. Same thing with Pursuit. It's just, like, incredible. Because sometimes, like, especially on a road trip like that, like, I know JP's really focused on getting home because his ETA was already 2 a.m. So now it's going to be like 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
He's been working multiple days and even a hard schedule. But, like, it would have been real easy when the guy complimented, like, JP on his shirt or whatever to be like, oh, thanks, man, and, like, just got in his car and driven off, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not only is JP going to have an impact on that life, but that guy, I think, is going to have an impact on our life.
Right.
And in the ministry perspective. And, like, that's just one small example of this other thing about sometimes making the most of your time. Like, you do need to steward your time, and you get your workouts in, you get the family time in, you got to get your work in, you got to do stuff. But sometimes it's being in tune with the Holy Spirit and saying, oh, well, hold on a second, Lord, you have something different for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had one of those moments last Saturday. You were involved in it,
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
And it was like, that's a whole nother story. We won't go down there. But yeah, sometimes it's like, man, I was running so hard that day, a different direction. And I got asked to do something else, and I just felt the Lord be like, you need to do this. And I'm like, man, I don't know, man, I'm supposed to do this. Like, I'm probably getting like a little trouble with my wife because I'm trying to keep this schedule. And I'm like, okay, I'll just obey the Holy Spirit. And it was, the Lord moved heaven and earth in a moment there for me because of just me listening to that prompting and following through with it and going to sitting down with coffee.
Yeah.
With a couple guys when I didn't really have time to do it. But
and further, that was the same for JP.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even know
Correct.
the person we were doing this for.
Yeah.
And he was like, I feel like I need to be there.
Yeah. It was a domino effect of multiple people
listening
to the Holy Spirit, and it would like moved heaven and earth for multiple people in multiple ways, in fact, and ultimately actually led to if that stuff hadn't happened last week, the little scenario I just described with St. Louis wouldn't have happened because there's some key details that Saturday unlocked for the St. Louis thing.
No.
It's kind of crazy, but so that's another thing I want to challenge you with is truly trying to live a life where you are trying to, and that's in verse 17, right? I'm going to use Stephen's words now, but trying to fulfill your kingdom purpose, right? Making sure you're let me use the actual words, right? Verse 17, don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do. Well, sometimes that is actually following the promptings of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Right. As he's directing you and guiding you throughout your day, he's gonna put people in your path, right? Because sometimes our platform, like I hear a lot of Christians talk about wanting a platform, right? Like literally a platform. Like they want to preach, they want to lead worship, they want, they deserve millions of followers on social media so they can be a social media preacher, whatever. It's like, dude, you know what your platform is? It's in the gas station, on your drive back from St. Louis, in the evening when you're tired and you're grumpy, and there's going to be an old man out there pumping gas next to you. That's your platform.
Yeah.
Steward that freaking platform.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, where else your platform is? It's at home, right? Which we a lot of times we give the best we have at work, the best we have everywhere else we go, in jiu-jitsu class, all of our buddies there, we're doing all this stuff, and then like we go home and we're tired and we're exhausted and we put our guard down and we crap all over our family.
Boy, that one's easy.
Right?
That one's real easy to fall into.
And so it's like I'm just talking about like understanding, like, man, your platform is right where you are, and you need to be stewarding that platform, at home, at the gas station, at the grocery store, at the jiu-jitsu gym, in your work, wherever you are, like, you have a platform, people that you're in front of daily, but then also the random people that God's going to bring across your path. And you need to make sure that you're stewarding it, because you never know what the Lord wants to do through you, and it might be something that you never see, right? You might just be planting a seed that someone else is going to water 10 years from now.
Right.
So, anyways.
You got any additional thoughts on that?
No, I'm just I'm thankful for that God gave you that scripture to share tonight. Stephen buttoned it up too and added some good context.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was good.
It's great, and it's a good encouragement too. Just simple verse, but looking carefully how we walk, I think, is
being in tune.
Takeaway for me. Not be so fixated. Not be running crazy with my head in the sand, but taking time to look around and, what was the word again?
Circumspectly.
Circumspectly. That's a good word. Yeah. Thanks,
Cool.
bro.
Thank you.
This has been Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu Podcast 015.
Go train.